wow. I gotta find mine. Oh, I got bumped out.
All right, we're live.
Hi guys, welcome to another great episode of Enough is Enough 2020. I am your host, Onika Mclean. I am joined by Shawn Cornelius, my other co-host, and Talent Harris, talented comedian. We have on deck Honest John. And this episode, we have to talk about the vote, because if you have not voted, please get up early and just wait on that line, because we need every vote. Every vote counts. This is what we're talking about today. We're talking about voting, and we're talking about music. We're talking about music and how it impacts our culture, and what it adds, and how it enhances. So today, what we need you to do, like we need you to do every Monday, don't act like this you're new to this, because you're not new to this. We need you to back up from this link, go to Shawn Cornelius's Instagram. You'll see it. He has on a white shirt, Shawn Cornelius. Go down a little, you'll see us talking, and then just share it. But share it to 3 or 4 places. We want you to share it to your groups. We want to share it to your pages. We want to share it in Messenger. Just share. I'm about to go do that right now. So while I'm doing it, just join me, and I'll be right back. Shawn, take it over.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. As Onika said, this is Enough. This is Enough is Enough SC2020. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to have a great conversation. Hey, Talent Harris, how you doing?
What's up, bro?
Everything is good. Everything is all right. And welcome to you folks. I'm going to mute everybody except Talent. So for right now, just everyone be muted. Talent, I think you're going to have to pop yourself back in real quick.
And boom, I'm back.
All right, good deal. And it's great to be here on another Monday night. Tonight, we're definitely going to discuss the election, because tomorrow is, if you haven't voted, please go out there and get your vote on. And then we're going to get into some conversation with my fabulous musician comrades who are popping in as we speak to discuss the effects of music on our culture, on our community, on the world, and on this election. We have some very talented musicians, comrades of mine that majority would have played in a band. If you can see behind me, I think it's cut off. The Legends of Soul band, which I created like 3 years ago. And I met these wonderful human beings, period, but they're also talented musicians. And music talent. I was watching you the other night. I came across your timeline. It was late, and you was playing some nice, good, oldies but goodies with your lights spinning and everything. So music affects us all in a good way.
I always say this. I always say about music. Music is the soundtrack to life. Everybody's life, as groups and individuals. You can always put a soundtrack together that goes with your life, trials, tribulations, good moments, bad moments. It doesn't matter. So what I do, part of my shows, usually Friday and Saturday, if I'm not out and about working, like you said, I come on late night between 11:30 and 12:30, and I'll rock to 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning. We went a couple of times right before 5 in the morning, because the people are there. If they staying there and they're listening to it and they're commenting and going down memory lane with me, like, we play that music that hits your soul. So I call it the Bump and Grind Cafe,
I got to see that.
Infamous, like, boom, boom room, people call it, but I call it Bump and Grind Cafe. And I like to dig in there and play the really, really feel good music. A lot of that stuff that you don't hear on a regular basis, you know how it is, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah. Not on my show. I bring that mind right back to that site and line it up.
I used to do that on Friday and Saturday nights till Facebook's put that message out about possibly deactivating your page. I used to do a show called Expressions of Love and Romance. It was all old school, feel-good music, different genres of everything. Just to get people in the mood, like especially during this pandemic time, where you can release and have some good memories and go back with that old flavor. You know what I mean?
Well, see, here's the trick to that, just in case you want to go back to it. The trick is with Facebook and Instagram, they you can't play the whole songs. You're allowed about just under 2 minutes before they flag you and clip you off and interrupt your show. Now, what I do is I start on all platforms, and for the first 45 minutes to an hour, I drive everybody over to Twitter, because Twitter don't have those stipulations.
Okay.
Twitter has a different set of rules to play by, so they let you play the whole damn thing. So I've gotten my people, my fan base, to most of them who never had Twitter, to download Twitter and get Twitter because they want to jam with the music. They don't want to be cut off. You know, you can't throw some Whispers and Isley on and cut that shit off in a minute. Somebody will kill you.
Right. Exactly. Right.
You know what I mean? So this is, like you said, music has touched our souls, brother, from birth until we go back into the grave, till we leave this joint. Music is attached to us from our parents to our grandparents, and we pass it on to our kids as well.
Yeah, yeah. So we're definitely going to get into that. And at about 9 o'clock, we're going to take a short break, a little short commercial break, and come right back. But Onika's back from Jamaica, and she's going to kick us off with her Jamaican. You didn't see her videos or pictures?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
I did too.
Yeah, I did.
So Onika, first of all, how was your trip? And then let's get into talking about the election and move on.
All right, shout out to Promoters United, Diane Hayes. I had a really, really good time. Jonathan Gaines, DJ Danny D, and DJ Knuckles. We had such a good time. It was like 30, 40 people in Jamaica, and they were Jamaica. The way you looking at another country, the way they handle this pandemic is really enlightening. Like, you know how in America they say sanitize your hands. In Jamaica, they have sanitized stations right at each door, and then people walking around with spray bottles saying, "Can I have your hand, ma'am? Can I have your hand, ma'am?" They're sanitizing your hands for you in Jamaica, right? They're not waiting for you to do it. And then your shoes. So when you walk into an establishment, they have like sanitizer on the mats, like these kind of mats, and you put your feet in them, and then you walk into the establishment. They are not playing. That's why their numbers are so low. I was like, wow. And everybody was masked up. Everybody was masked up. It was really good. I felt so safe there.
Well, welcome back. Glad you had a great time. So what's going on really quickly about the election, because the musicians are rolling in and we want to get them.
Okay, so we know that it's a lot of misinformation that's going out now. I mean, if you turn on the TV, you got this person saying this and that person saying that. It's just a lot going on, and it can be really distracting, guys. But what we need you to do is just focus. If you have any reservations about voting, just do it. Just do it. We need every vote. And I know that it's such a cliche at this point, every vote counts, but you will be doing your community and yourself a disservice if you do not, if you cannot like just vote. There's so many people. I know this guy, I was talking to him the other day. He's a felon, and he said that he was able to vote when in 2008, and then they rescinded it this year. Like, no, you can't do it. They did some kind of stuff. So they're doing a lot of tricks to make sure that the people that can't vote, or there's something iffy about them, like you changed your address, or you moved, or you're in college and you got your license in one place. It's a lot of trickery going on. So the people that really can't vote, please do so. Tomorrow's our last day to do it. And that's all I have to say about that. Talent, please talk about voting a little bit.
Well, let me tell you something about voting. You never lie when you talk about the tricks. I mean, first of all, shout out to my people who early voted, because you're talking about just right around 100 million early voters. Yeah. 100 million early voters. And what did we talk about before when we first started talking about voting? On the registered book, the registered voters, the Democrats are outnumbering the Republicans. So that's why they're afraid of everyone voting. Because if everyone vote for both sides, they automatically lose by the numbers. They know that. It's like basketball. I score 70, you score 60, you're just going to lose. So that's why they're going through the antics and they're trying everything, pulling out everything. I'm talking about there's Supreme Court cases just being judged on today, over the weekend, Thursday, like, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, Texas. Speaking of Texas, they go so far, these bozos, these clowns that are supporting this guy in office have gotten their pickup trucks and tried to run off the campaign tour bus off the road with Biden and Kamala.
Yeah, saw that.
So it was actually, and that's not it. It's one thing when you watch. It's one thing when you watch the news and see it, and it says Texas. It's another thing when it's in my backyard. They just stopped and clogged the bridge over here, the Tappan Zee Bridge, which is Governor Cuomo's bridge.
Yeah.
They came up with them same pickup trucks, them same Trump flags, and they shut down the bridge and blocked it off. Not a cop in sight.
Not a cop in sight.
That's in my backyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So get out and vote.
Don't let them stop you, folks. Don't let them stop you. All right, thanks, Talent. Thank you, Onika. Listen, we got a full show because, as you can see, we have some. Our screen is full with folks tonight. I'm so honored that these.
Welcome, talented ones.
What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go across the screen and just give a little brief introduction of the folks, how I know them. Then we'll bring them back and we'll just start discussing music. So at the top of my screen, to my left, is L.A. Blacksmith. L.A. Blacksmith has been a guest on this show before. He's been a featured guest on this show before. Very intelligent man, we know that. We also know he's a very talented saxophonist, an activist, and passionate about people and taking care of people. I met L.A. 3 years ago, again, as I formed the Legends of Soul band. And when you talk about just good people, sometimes we say we know good people. L.A. Blacksmith is a good person. He's a good man. So we bonded. You guys are awesome. If you want to see some of the clips, check out my Facebook and you'll see him performing with us on stage. To my right, King James III, James Gibbs out of New Jersey, talented horn player, producer, the music director. He does everything, plays bass, keyboards. I met James 3 years ago when I did my first CD in Joshua Paul Thompson's house, a producer. And James plays an awesome trumpet, and we've been connecting and bonding and creating music and creating fantastic stuff ever since then. He is a part of my Legends of Soul family, love him to death, a talented man. He's also been the musical director for Joe, and he's toured and done some things, and he'll tell you about that. Down to my left, under L.A. Blacksmith, Mr. Glenn Gibson Sr. Glenn Gibson Sr., the man plays lead guitar and sings. That is my tenor. When I can't hit those high notes, I go to Glenn. After I get to my falsetto, Glenn has been that man that just takes it to the next level. And Glenn is the only member of the Legends of Soul show that has played on every single show that I had, starting from at BB King. So it's almost like 20 shows. He's been there. He's been there. He's like my Jermaine Jackson over there on the guitar. On over to the right, Harvey Morris. Harvey, this man is the extra energy in our shows. Harvey's like that hyper kid in class that you always know is going to have some energy that the teacher's always like, what is Harvey doing now? Harvey is a talented drummer, producer, singer. He just released an album, a fantastic gospel album, and he's got some stuff that's out, and he'll talk about that. But anytime I needed to take a break during the show, it was always tossed over to Harvey. He didn't have to come away from the drums. He could sit right back there and do a show on his own. He's that kid. So be careful. We might have to calm him down a little bit on the show. Okay. Sheba Jordan, can't see her face, but she's a very talented singer. She's also written plays, and she joined the Legends of Soul show. There she goes. I guess you were waiting for that intro. We need a little bit more beauty on this show. You know, it's just us knuckleheads. Very talented lady. She's in the process right now of, I think, either reviving a play that she wrote or production. I've seen that recently. And she performs out around the city. All of these folks have played, performed with, produced for some very legendary artists. So we're going to get into that. But please welcome, I'm not sure who Sheila's phone is, and I see Drusilla, but please welcome my Legends of Soul family to the show.
Welcome, guys.
Welcome, everybody.
Everybody on Facebook, give us clapping hands. Give us clapping hands.
And there are people over on Facebook watching and giving their comments. So basically how I wanted to start it, and Onika and Talent and I, we already started talking about music. I wanted to talk about how music is so, music, just period. Why music is so important in our lives, you know what I mean? Because these people have done it all their lives, basically. So what we'll do is you can just chime in 2-3 minute comments and we'll move along. So I'll start at the top of the screen with LA. Just tell me how long you've been playing music, man, and why is music important, how it affects your life and all that other stuff.
And how'd you get into it?
Basically.
LA?
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to unmute myself. How did I get into it? The attraction was the opposite sex. period.
He's trying to get the chicks.
Yeah, I was trying to get the chicks. I was in junior high school. I saw this band that was just stellar. They had fashioned themselves after James Brown and the famous Flames with the Go-Go Girls. And I was sitting there in the assembly, in the orchestra playing trombone at the time. And the hottest tune we had was Batman, and I was the trombone player. So I was and they came on and just blew the stage away. And I saw the girls screaming. I looked back at the band. I saw the girls screaming, including a young lady who I was dying to get next to. And so anyway, that appeared to be my end. I went and found that band in the neighborhood, asked them, could I join and be a part of their band? And that's how it all began for me. But
Hold on. LA, did you get the chicks?
yeah, my first son was by that woman.
Well, they were.
A baby girl?
There you go.
That's right. I got it.
Oh, wow.
That's
God.
right. That's right.
You must have played the hell out of that instrument. I mean,
Oh, no.
The trombone.
I know. I actually played the hell out of the saxophone. I got kicked out of that same band as a trombone player. But that opened the door for me to play the instrument that I was essentially supposed to play originally, which was the saxophone. So
That makes me think of Mo Better Blues. Remember Mo Better Blues?
Hey, he's a bad man on that sax. Let's jump it over to King James. James Gibbs.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I just want to say thank you. Hey, thank you so much for having me on the show, Shawn. Really appreciate this. How did I get into music? It really wasn't the girls, man. That kind of came a little later, but I don't know. I went to, my dad is a retired Army guy, and we used to go to the parades in town for like Veterans Day and Memorial, and
he
I remember
freeze
looking at the Heido.
You froze up.
Make sure you're on your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, check your Wi-Fi. Make sure it's okay.
He froze again.
Oh, okay. All right, you know what? Let me
You at Shawn's house?
I'm at my house, actually.
Okay, so watch how we do this real quick. There we go. Any chance she gets, she try to throw a little joke in. That is so cheap. Here we go.
Yeah.
You will be muted for the next segment until the next segment.
Yeah, sometimes my Wi-Fi has to breathe into my room, but yeah, I was checking out the marching band. I don't remember how old I was, maybe 7, 8, and I saw how the trumpeters were just twirling their trumpets around, and the girls were just dancing, and the band was dancing, and everybody was just screaming, and I was just very intrigued by it. And then I remember around that same time, that's when the award shows, the music award shows, used to have jazz acts on there. So you would see Dizzy Gillespie or Miles Davis or any major jazz person on these, national award shows like the Grammys. So I remember seeing, I think it was Miles Davis and Dizzy Gillespie was on there. And just the flamboyancy of Miles Davis and his very colorful outfits and his trumpet, and then Dizzy Gillespie, he looked like a cartoon character to me, so I thought that was very entertaining, his cheeks puffing out so far, and it was just like a mixed bag. So I always knew I wanted to play the trumpet, but I didn't get the chance to even touch the trumpet until I was about maybe 14, because my band director at the time allowed me to play saxophone. I guess that's what was needed at the time after school. So I was playing alto sax from 9 till actually 21, but I started playing trumpet at 14. And I was playing multi-instruments up until after undergraduate. And then I just pretty much stuck with the trumpet around maybe 1920. So yeah, that's how I got into music.
Awesome. Sheba, let's jump down to you, my lady. Let us know what's happening.
Hi there, Shawn. How are you?
Les,
Hi, Sheila. How are you?
Hi,
Thanks for
Onika. I love you.
I love you too.
3 of my favorite comedians, honestly. I'm not just saying that because you invited me on your show.
Well, that would be good to say.
We
that.
appreciate it,
Favorite
though.
comedians.
Yeah.
You guys know that. Talent already knows that. Anyway, well, I've been doing music forever since I can remember. I think I was 4 years old when I started singing. First professional show was about 6, where I got paid. I've been getting paid since I was 6 years old. Do what I do, and I love it. Right now I'm not doing that much singing. All my gigs got canceled, just like everybody else's with the pandemic. But we're picking up a little bit. We're picking up a little bit, and that's a good thing. But how I got into it, I don't remember. My mother just put me out there to sing, and that's what I've been doing since I was a little girl. But I also produce plays. We just celebrated our 12-year anniversary, 12 years in the theater business. So
Congratulations.
like that.
Congratulations.
Actually, Halloween was the 12-year anniversary of my first play. So that was a big thing. We had a virtual reunion, and that was a lot of fun. But yeah, so I got to ask my mom how, but she threw me out there.
All right. Well, glad she did. Glad she did. If you guys haven't caught her show, she's awesome. Brother Harvey Morris.
Unmute yourself.
Sorry about that. I had to unmute. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I started music when I was 2. My mom bought me my first drum set when I was 2, and it was at 4 that I got the opportunity to see the Jackson 5, the Temptations, James Brown, and I knew I wanted to entertain, and from there I just did what I do, and I just thank God for the opportunity to be able to do what I do. Now I produce, and I just love making music with a message, positive music, positive people. That's what it's all
Harvey,
about.
really quick. I'm sorry. Yeah. So tell them really quick about the new release.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. I released my first CD in 2016, but I just released a version of Lift Every Voice and Sing. And I did that actually. This brother named Chuck Stanley, he's the lead vocalist on there. My daughter and Chuck, they both did the backgrounds on there. I did a little lead up in the beginning, but the purpose of that song it's about liberation. It's a shame that as a people, we don't know all 3 stanzas of Lift Every Voice and Sing. That's our anthem, and we don't know it. And
it's a long anthem too, though.
You know what? But if you listen to those lyrics, they make a whole lot of sense. And it talks about our journey. And so the purpose of me releasing re-releasing Lift Every Voice and Sing in the way that I did was so that, perhaps people would, really pay attention to those lyrics and understand that it's relevant to the journey of today. So
can we have the link? Can we have the link so that we can put it on this video so that people can view it once we finish recording?
I'm sure I don't know how to do that. How would I do that? You'd have to. I'm savvy, but
where can we find the song?
Oh, you can find it on iTunes, Apple Music, YouTube. Just go to Harvey Morris and the House of Praise, and you'll see my whole album, and then you'll see a single release for Lift Every Voice and Sing.
I'll go while we're doing the show. I'll look for it, and then I'll put it up in the.
Excellent.
So I want to pose a question to all of you guys, and you guys can answer.
Hang on, let me get to Glenn, and then bring it out. So we got to do Glenn. Sorry. So Glenn,
hey yo, what's going on? What's going on?
Glenn.
Yeah, Onika and my man Anjan is in the house too, and of course Talent's in the house, and my man LA. I'm happy to see y'all, and especially King. All right, Onika. And King James, it's good to see King James, man.
I didn't know you were a musician. I was like, oh wow, Glenn, you're a musician. I didn't know that.
Yep. Oh. And but yeah, good to see Harvey and my man King James in the house. I'm looking forward to hitting with y'all again. Anyway, until that happens, the LOS band hits again. And let me just say that dang, how I started out. Well, I unlike Harvey, didn't get to see a lot of acts live when I was coming up, but television was my means of seeing people in terms of, active. Primarily Ed Sullivan Show. And my grandmother, although she's from Trinidadian descent, she used to treat us with Beatles records. So between me seeing John, Paul, Ringo, and George up there, and I'm saying to myself, I can do that. I was also still influenced by the other acts that Ed Sullivan Show, and other, it wasn't just the Ed Sullivan Show. There was Shindig and all these other shows that used to come on back in the day. So I was just influenced by seeing a lot of acts through the television, through the radio, WABC that was playing all genres with the exception of the Caribbean stuff. Back, you don't hear that much now. All types of music in one station. A lot of stations are like somewhat segregated in terms of the genres that they play. So
how old were you?
I'll be 62 this month.
No, how old were you when you started?
I was 6 years old.
Wow.
I was 6 years old, starting on a toy guitar. My parents got me my first electric when I was 13. I borrowed my father's acoustic guitar between 6 years old and 13 years old. And my father was a jazz saxophonist, by the way, but he had an acoustic guitar that I borrowed. So between the toy guitar, the acoustic guitar that I borrowed, and my electric guitar, I've been always familiarizing myself with the instrument. From 13 on is when it was really more serious. So I got jammed with other people, talent shows, whether it's a three-piece, playing the pop and the R&B, to other bands that I was playing around the area with Bernard Wright and all these other cats. Later on in years, there's a lot of local bands in Queens back in the day that I used to jam with. But anyway, that's about it. I mean, till later on, I played drums in the school, in the high school band. I'm teaching, I play bass and got one bass student now. So, that's about it for now.
That's dope.
Cool. Go ahead, Onika. You said you had a question.
So how has the church influenced your music? Anybody can start.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I can tell you that. I've been in church all my life, and the church is my first platform, if you will. I started playing percussion at the church when I want to say maybe about 8 or 9. And it was from the church that I got my singing skills, my music skills, drumming. The idea of voicing and orchestration had initially started in the church for me. To this day, I love the Lord and I thank God, like the total Yahweh. Thank the Lord for the blessings that He's bestowed upon me. And no matter what the journey is, it's a journey to be seen. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Bless up.
Anyone else?
Well, I will say the church didn't have much influence on mine. I did go to church, but I wasn't my family, we went to church, but we weren't church people, if that makes any sense. I did play in church, but where I grew up, I don't know, I think everybody just had raw talent. They didn't really educate. I guess they just wanted you to just hear it. So by me not understanding music, I never had a teacher. I literally, to be honest with you, I had my very first real trumpet lesson when I turned 35. So that is now, almost 8 years ago. And, but then, I've always loved church music. I always thought that it had a thing. I was more into the jazz though, but my story is a little bit more tragic because it was, being that I loved the gospel, but I was playing like jazz blues or whatever. Like I would just hear like the blues all the time and I would play it. And I remember one of the deaconesses in the church was like, "You don't play that stuff in this church." So my dad was like, "Look, man, if she says that you can't play the stuff in church, then you can't play it." So I started studying jazz around maybe 15. And this is around the time I just started learning how to play the trumpet. And as I started progressing with the jazz thing, I'm like, hold on, why does this jazz stuff sound so much like what I heard in church? So when I became grown, I didn't see that lady until my 30s, and and I saw her at the old folks home on a gig. So I went to, and I saw her, and I looked at her like a animal that was haunting his prey. I was looking at her while she sat down, and I'm like, that woman better not move. I'm literally in the middle of this set, and I went to her and said, you know, you damaged me, man. You know, and I told, and she remembered me. She remembered the story, but you know, it was just her ignorance, and it was my parents' ignorance too, and it was also my ignorance of not knowing. So the church was something that was always deep rooted in my soul. It just didn't really grab me the way jazz did. I think, you know, the jazz world kind of embraced me a little bit better than the church world did. So, but now the church thing is like, you know, it's literally like first cousin. So so yeah, so the church does have influence indirectly, but not necessarily directly for me.
Okay, cool.
I hear the music now.
Anybody else want to answer that?
So I agree with James. I was raised in Temple, so I didn't go to church, and I wasn't allowed to visit churches either. Really, my parents were very strict, and so I was brought up in Temple. However, I did study the music of people who obviously were influenced by the church. Stevie Wonder, Whitney Houston. I studied their music, and it's really how I learned my lesson. And as we progressed in the years, I got older. It was Rachelle Farrell, you know, as far as my contemporary jazz influence. But as far as church, definitely influenced, but through people who actually went to church.
Okay. All right. Okay.
All right, really quick, guys. I'm gonna do this really fast. I'm gonna take a quick break. I'm gonna take a break and come right back. We do have commercials now, so take a short one, countdown, and come right on back to you. So hang on. And plus, we got a special guest coming in that I'm sure a lot of you will know as soon as her audio connects. So I don't know if anyone else had a question for that last comment for that last question about the church.
I was just going to jump in and just say that the church, for me, wasn't an influence. I was a Catholic school boy, an altar boy. Okay, and,
I knew it.
That's how my mama brought me up, man. My mom and my dad brought me up, and I didn't get wind of the gospel thing until I was in my 30s, and didn't actually start to understand how influential that music tied into my heroes.
Right.
So
really? Wow.
Yeah. So,
well, I got a question for you guys too before we move on to the next thing. Because I want to compare this to me and comedy. As far as when you guys hear other musicians or other music, are you able, because there's a switch with an entertainer that it's a fine line and a switch of when you hear someone that does what you do, that competitive switch, that you're able to click that switch and not look at it in a competitive manner, but actually appreciate it. Like I love comedy. So I'm able to go to a comedy show or watch somebody very funny that I like I'm a fan of Honest John. So when I watch Honest John, I'll get my drink. If he's on the show with me, when I'm on the side and he's up, I can click the switch to go and sip on my Heineken or whatever and really become a regular person and enjoy his whole show before I click back into the being on the show or being talent or whatever. When I first started, I had this competitive thing that I couldn't do that. But as I got seasoned and got some experience, I was able to do it. Is it the same for musicians and artists, like, you know, of the music swagger? Like, are you guys caught in that competitive zone, or are you able to really appreciate music, whether it's the same instrument or the same type of music or not?
Well,
I think so.
Oh, I'm sorry, King James. Go.
No, go ahead. No, I want to hear you.
Yeah. That's a very good question, Talent. I periodically think about that, and what I do when that comes to my mind, even whether I see a peer, one of my peers that either I grew up with or, you know, same age group or what have you, or I see a celebrity. What I learned about myself was I was more in the competitive vein when I was a lot younger.
Me too, yeah. Okay.
Though the way I am has always been as a person. I was never one of these very jealous, very envious types. But there was that competitive thing, like back in the days when we had talent shows.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time I mean, I don't know if they still do it today, but back in the day you had talent shows. But even then, back then we had in Brooklyn, Queens, wherever you grew up, every other block you go see a band play, right? My mindset wasn't always competitive. Now, I mean, it's not as competitive now as it was then. When I was going through the neighborhood seeing other bands, it was like, man, he's bad, man, you know. Yeah. But you wouldn't be so quick to praise him. But I'm gonna be honest with you. But the reason I'm saying that is because back then, even though I still never considered myself the type that would badmouth somebody, oh man, he isn't as good as me. I never did that. Right. But in my soul, I'm like, I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna work on my acts. So when people see me, they're gonna say, oh man, I like how Glenn plays more than so-and-so. Now, I'm like far from that. Now, when I see another cat, either that I grew up with, or my peer, or a celebrity that I don't, could be a celebrity I know, could be a celebrity I don't know, that competitive thing is like almost nil now.
Right. Like,
it was more like that when I was a kid.
Yeah, you know? I look back, and the same thing with you. Same thing when I was younger. I would say like my first 10, 12 years, next year makes 30 years. My first 10, 12 years, I was like that. When I look back, the second half of my career, I'm like, yo, I think I was crazy. I'm like, you missed out on so much enjoyment because I love comedy. Like, so for whatever reason, I hate that part. When I look back at that, that's the one thing I would change. If I could go back and change something, I would sit my ass down and enjoy some shows. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to sign, like this. Yeah, I'm going to start making mental notes. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, man, yo, this is my town. Or, you know, I'm the headline. Because I've seen headliners drive themselves crazy while the opening acts are, they're driving themselves crazy. Like, get them off. How long he supposed to be up there? Oh, man, he did that song. Especially DJs. DJs are the worst. DJs are the worst. Why he play that? Oh, you know I'm gonna play that. I'm like, dude, you can play it again. You can play it again. It's a record. It's gonna still be there. You know, like, so I totally get it. I understand.
I'll dig it. Before someone else answers really quick, I want to introduce the lady that just popped in really fast, and then we could jump to you, Harvey. I love this lady. I'm so happy and humbled to call her a friend. She was doing some things. She popped in. I'm sure everybody knows her. Everybody knows Just Call My Name. Remember that song, of course. And she's an actress now who appeared in the film. Please welcome Alyson Williams to our show, everybody. Everybody knows Alyson. Hey, Alyson, how you doing?
Peace and greetings, everybody. How are you?
Good.
Hey, where's the real Alyson Williams? Shawn, stop playing.
You know, talent, you got Joe. And you're
hey, how are you, Queen?
Okay.
How are you, my queen? Good evening.
I'm fine, my king. How are you?
Fantastic, baby.
To all the kings and queens, happy Elections Eve.
Yeah.
Yes. Alyson, how are you? Welcome to the show. I just want to say one thing. I know Shawn and Talent's gonna say I try to make everything about me, so I'm not. But you got me in a lot of trouble. You got me in a lot of trouble with that damn song, Just Call My Name. Because I was like, just call, I was doing stuff with people that I had no business doing. I should have changed my damn name is what I should. Okay, no, sorry.
You done made me lose my whole Zoom. I can't even find myself now. Okay.
I was singing that song so much.
There are people who will still come and say, you need to give me some money for college tuition because I conceived my baby on that song.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Just call my name. I'll come running. I came running too, like a fool. I just kept on running. I ran my damn sneakers out. Okay, no.
No, you see, that's important. Thank you for saying what you're saying, because I was going to go into that next about how important music is and how music can actually dictate our lives. Or what if there was no music? what kind of world would this be without music, y'all?
And I want to, Shawn, say this. If we're not careful, it could happen.
And how do you mean?
Keep music alive. We must keep live music alive, all the different genres. Yes. And we have to watch it. I was listening to what Talent and the other speakers were saying about, competitiveness and so on and so forth. There, as an artist, you asked the question, Shawn, how do you view other artists? There are certain people that I go to fill my soul. Do you know what I'm saying? That the people, I just got to hear Ty Stevens. I just have to hear Lillias White. And many of those don't have records in the Billboard charts. But when I go and sit down and listen to them, all is well in the world. Right. And as a performer, in terms of, you always want to put your out there, but you can't consume yourself with who's better and who's going to make a bigger mark and what's going to be left when I get on the stage. I have no rivals. When I go out, I go and I do what God gifted me to do. There are a lot of people who sing better than, what, in my opinion, sing circles around Alyson Williams. But my gift is not just the voice. My gift is the diversity of the voice. And I can sing any genre of music authentically. And that's a gift. And everybody else does it. They rip how they rip, they run how they run, and I'm good. And when you come in the room, I can't wait to see what's going to happen. And so I get it like, I'm all right. I'm all right. And that's how we have to be. That's how we have to be.
Comedy is a little bit different. Comedy is a little bit different, though.
Okay, now I get it. Listen, let me tell you this. I had my little about that much in comedy, and I intend to go back to it. But I respected all of my comedy brothers and sisters so much because they looked at me. I knew that this is what I knew. When I put my reel together, I let some people hear it, and they gave me good criticism. Kim Whitley said, "Oh yeah, your reel is the bomb, bitch. Stay in your lane," and that's what she told me. She said, "I love it, Alyson. She didn't need it." And I saw how you work. I remember working at a club in the Village called Upstairs at Green Street. And then you had Paula Poundstone. You had Mario Cantone. And they had already been to 3 other comedy clubs where they paid to play before they got to Upstairs at Green Street. So I know what you do. And even though I may think I have a gift for timing or comedic timing, whatever, there's another way I got to go around it because I'm not trying to come in your world like that. I get it. I get it. Right. And I also get that what I did or what, when I was trying to, just kind of dabble in it, I was embraced. You embraced me and said, okay, all right, yeah.
And you can sing, So
when you say it, it's a little bit different. So I do. The battleground is different. Battleground.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that's it, but not the format of what we're speaking. Entertainment is the genre is broad and it's the same of competitiveness. But like I said, that's one of those things. If I can go back in time and do it different, I definitely would enjoy my comrades and my colleagues a lot more because all I've realized 15 years in, I realized that I loved it more than I knew I loved it. I thought originally I just loved it for me, but I actually loved it overall. So I want to go.
And Talent, didn't you take something away from it? Now you can take the lessons away. You can see it. You can see it. You can see the pros and the cons and the ooh and the ah, and that forms a better talent. I pride myself on being one with the audience, and what better way than to become one with the audience than to really become the audience. With the audience. Yeah.
Good deal. Harvey,
that's how you cut. That's how you cut. That's how what you do touches a soul. Right. That's what it is.
Yep. Go ahead, Brother Harvey.
Yeah. I just want to say that for me, music has always been a ministry. It all ties in. You talked about, how does the music affect, how did church affect the music? Well, for me, music has always been a ministry. So it's never for me been about doing what somebody else does. It's just enjoying what they do and owning my craft, not to do what they do, but to take what I do and do it to the best of my ability, because it's not about being in competition. It's about being in ministry. And for me, when music being a ministry, That's what we're here to do. We, as musicians, comedians, whatever we do, whatever our talent is, we're to minister. That's why people come to see us, because they want to feel good about that experience. And so our job is to help them to feel good. And the only way, to me, from my perspective, the only way to do that is to make it a ministry. Love them, love yourself, and just emanate that love. That's what it's all about for me. That's all I got.
And that's what my question was. I'm going to do this real quick, LA. I'm going to get your question really quickly, or your comment. But the last 15 minutes, I got 2 questions I need to ask, very important. And I'm going to go across the panel like we did earlier. But I want Brother LA to finish his comment, and then I'm going to do like I did in the beginning, because I need to ask these 2 questions before the show ends. So, Brother LA.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to the part of competition, you know, when we're kids, I think it's natural in the beginning to compete, because you want to grow, you want to build, you see something that's good, you see something like out there that you can appreciate, you want to get a piece of that from the neighborhood. As we get older, we mature, we grow, we start to see things different. And then I think that's where the ministry, that's where the bond, that's where the balance comes in. I like being on stage with people who I'm in harmony with. I like enjoying people who are not only good, you know, out there, but good at understanding and comfortable with what they do. You know, it's true, that very true, that we've been given a gift, and we are very much essential workers, you know, for people who are dealing with problems and dealing with a number of issues right now. And just like in comedy and politics, timing is everything. Timing is everything. And we've discussed that on this show a few times. And we know that we serve an on-time God. And how the hell can folks not realize that timing is not everything? And music is all about timing. And it's all about our growth, you know, so it's where we start and where we understand and where we're going to, and where we're going. And I'm just going to end there.
Beautiful. Okay, folks, question number 1, and I'm going to go across, keep your answer to a minute because we're running low on time. I'm going to start with Ms. Sheba. What does music mean to you?
What does music mean to me?
What does music mean to you?
Wow. Music is everything to me. Music is love. I mean, when I hear music, when I sing the music, it's a feeling. It's a feeling that comes over me that I know transfers to my audience. And I can't really describe that feeling other than to say that it's love. So music to me is love, and love is everything. You know, love is one of the most important keys to life, if you ask me. I think that, you know, love is the answer to everything. It conquers all, and music is that. That's what music is. Music is everything to me.
Thank you. Brother James Gibbs, a minute or less. What does music mean to you, brother?
Me personally, it's too many words to describe it, but I look at music as God. I look at it as the heavens and the earth. The dirt, water.
You're breaking up.
Oh my goodness, I'm breaking up again. All right. Okay. What about now? Is it better?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna get in the dark here just a little bit because this is driving me crazy. But I will say that music means more to me than it's like God, really, because by me playing an instrument that has no vocality to it, and I can still get people to sing and dance and become emotional. That's the work of God, man. And just to just touch on that, the competitive thing. Yeah, I was competitive, but I think I was only competitive because I wanted to be better. I just wanted to learn. So, but now I think it's just one of those things where I think once you get to a certain level, not only as a musician, but security as yourself as a person, none of that stuff really even matters anymore.
Right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Alyson, please. What does music mean to you?
For me, music is oxygen. It is air. It is what courses through my veins. I am married to it, and although I can make room for friends, family, lovers, beloveds, music is everything to me. And I think that if we, as Sister Sheba said, It is love. And if we work from a place of love, hate can't win. And that's what we have to work from. And music gives us that platform. Whenever we come out of whatever this is that we are in, this stranger than fiction life that we're living right now, music will be the thing, the essential thing that will heal us. Music is a balm. Music is medicine. Music is the temperature taker. Music is the barometer that has for centuries told us what time it is in every era that we've seen. Music has been a thing. And if you look at what our music is right now, it is indicative of our upside down in the water existence. And we just have to make the choices and be brave to put the story out there in our own individual ways, our own unique ways that will heal and continue to heal. So music is a healer. And I'm glad that I was given a gift, and we've all been given our individual gifts to heal. Music is the one thing, it's like fire in that movie. What was that? With the prehistoric people. It's we keepers of the flame. It's the only thing that you can walk into a room and you can sing a note or play a note, and you can take black, white, young, old, gay, straight, tall, short, fat, thin, and put everyone on one page at the same time.
Yeah.
Whether you want to cry or whether you want to smile, whether you want to reminisce, music is the only thing that can do that. So we are keepers of the flame.
Thank you. Thank you. Brother Gibson.
That's great. That was so good. Ooh, we have
Glenn Gibson, please.
that a little bit. Fire keeper.
Glenn, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me see if I can follow Alyson. Like Sheba and King James said, to start off with, undescribable. It's an undescribable way of expressing myself as an art form through sound. And it's just like second nature to me. It's like just part of my soul. So it's for me, it's an art form that allows me to express myself through your ears. That's it.
Thank you. All right, brother.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Music is my message. Music is my voice. Music is who I am. I've always been in music. But most of all, for me, music is what God has given me to bring forth the word, his word, in his way that he's given to me. That's all. Music is my ministry. That's it. And I just love the ministry that he gave me. And I love you all for the ministries that he's given you all. And I thank you all for blessing me, because each one of you that's on this show tonight has had a positive effect on my ministry today. So thank you all for your ministries, because you done blessed me.
Harvey.
Hey, what's up, baby?
Now, here's what I want to do. We got two folks that have been riding with us the whole show. We got enough time. Take a minute, please. Honest John. What does music mean to you?
Yes, Honest John.
One of the things that I think is important is that music is not only a form of healing, but music and to be the voice of the people. One of the things that music has always done is spoken out about what's going on in society, and sometimes motivated people to change it.
That's true.
Appreciate that. Denise, yes, I know you've been patiently waiting as well. What does music mean to you? Then I'm going to go kick it over to my co-hosts, because I know they got some things to say.
Music is my breath, my being, my emotion, my go-to, my just everything. Every day there's always music in my world, somehow, some way, in my car, just being myself. Words, poetry, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Thank you. T, you and I started off this conversation a little earlier in the show, and you mentioned some very important things. What does music mean to you, my brother?
Well, I think that music is proof. I was watching this. It's a special on right now called a series called the Good Lord Bird, and it's dealing with John Brown and the freedom of slaves, and Frederick Douglass was in the last episode and stuff like that. and he was ranting on about being excited about the breakthrough of photography, of a camera. And what we take for granted is photographs and where the camera has come from and where it has went. The camera and the photograph is proof. We wouldn't be able to look back and see some of our wrongs and try to correct them and hold the powers that be accountable if we didn't have this proof. And music has become the soundtrack version of that. Music is the soundtrack version of what a camera does. It captures moments, and you can see it 100 years later, or hear it, in this case. In music, you hear it 100 years later and see the clarity in the proof. You know what I mean? And what that person was going through, like John said, whether it's the sign of the times, whether it's someone with a simple broken heart. You know, you got to realize when you hear a love song go double platinum or triple platinum, that's just 3 million people that went through the same thing that can relate to what you did. So music continues to be proof. You know what I mean? And every time I hear a song, it's proof. Like if it stands the test of time, that's just like, that's DNA. Like, you know how DNA is the end all be all in the courtroom? Like a song that stands the test of time is the equivalent of DNA. If I can feel the same way I did 30 years ago when I first heard that song, today, you can't tell me that's not DNA.
Right. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Onika.
Never have a love that you could call on.
But I'm talking about good music. Like music, people that sound good when they
comes to you on the devil. All you need to look no further. I'm waiting for you.
Oh,
okay,
baby.
I'm sorry. I know that song. Like, that song is embedded in my body. Okay, that's all I'm going to say. So music to me is a frequency changer.
Right.
It changes the vibration of a thing, of a person. It takes mass and it couples it with the energy, and it changes the vibration of the thing. It is a vortex comrade. It takes you to another place. It takes you to another place. Right. If you want to change your mood, they say put on a song. If you want to remember a time, I remember that time. I remember that song. I was probably like 20 years old. I'm damn near 50 now.
Yes.
I know all the words to that song because I needed a friend. And that song was it. So that's what music is. It's whatever you need it to be when you need it to be whatever you need.
Right. And basically,
it's like Talent said, it's DNA.
It is.
Basically piggybacking off of that, everything. Listen, first of all, this show, we've done like 12 shows, Talent, Onika, and this is one of the most personal shows for me because everybody on this screen, I was touched by them through music. Everyone on this screen, as far as my musical comrades, has that gift like Brother Harvey was talking about. And when I met some Emily Surtees, who couldn't be with us tonight, and she introduced me to the BB King's side, and I met Harvey, and I met King James and Glenn. I met Glenn. What you were saying about music, when you didn't know when you were younger, music is basically, sometimes I like music more than I like people. I like music more than I like people. I can go talk to or have a song talk to me more than I can talk to a person because people irritate me. They get on my nerves. But songs, I can get my anger out. Songs, I can get my romance out. Songs, I can get my happy out. And now that I'm able to write songs and be in a place where I can share my blessing in my.
Yeah. I mean, you all right. You all right. You ain't doing no music like this.
Oh my.
That's the only time I'll let you cut me off, brother.
You ain't doing no music like that.
Yes.
Not a there. Not a there.
You don't know what I got in my repertoire, but take it.
He go in that virtual background with his head in and out.
Yeah, he going now.
I told him stop using it. You know.
Listen, while we play ourselves
Now I gotta
out,
write talent a check.
yeah, there you go. Playing it all on Facebook and everything.
Oh, you gonna write checks because of it?
No, you gonna play it
Nah, nah.
Onika, yours is already in the mail. Onika, yours is already in the mail because you sang it. And you sang
Right.
all
I don't know,
out.
Alyson. You're gonna have to flip that. They gotta give you a check.
They pay you for that one.
Yeah, I was just
Hey,
hearing that.
Shawn,
Yes.
Shawn, would you allow me to just say one thing? And it's not about, you know, I mean, I'm a hustler, and every day I'm hustling.
Please.
I want to say to you guys, not so much as to go and make a purchase, but I want to put some music in your lives that I think will make you inhale and exhale. Because it is a heart project, and what I mean by that, it is the music that's been on my heart for a long time, and I finally got a chance to do it. Take a chance to go on any of the platforms and look up Summer Nights in Harlem.
Yeah. Oh, man.
It's my new project. I'm not doing a commercial right now. I just want y'all to get it because it touches you just like Just Call My Name, but in another genre, and
Right.
it's jazz. And please go just listen to it and let it wash over you. It's a gift, okay?
Summer Nights in Harlem.
Summer Nights in Harlem.
And I got to vouch for it. And let me tell you something. I heard that song and I had to call her up. I was like, yo, Alyson, yo, you did it, girl. You did it. I'm just trying to tell you. I got to vouch for it.
It's a polar opposite from Just Call My Name on the R&B side, but I know y'all are gonna get it because you get
Good, because I'm changed.
You're gonna get it because you get music.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, as I was saying before, talent blew me off, and that's the only time I'll appreciate that talent. Wonderful interrupt. That was a wonderful interrupt. Hey, look, since Alyson wasn't doing a commercial, hey, Sheila, can you show your shirt? Show your shirt.
Crazy. You appreciate it.
Oh, yeah.
Something crazy.
Show your shirt, T. No, we're not doing commercials, but enough is enough.
Look at Sheba.
That's right. Look at it. Represent.
Man, this has been a wonderful, wonderful hour.
I need that shirt, Sheba.
Oh, that's I got you, sister.
Shawn got you. Shawn got you, Alyson.
So listen, guys, thank you so much for being a part of this show tonight, this platform. We have done, like I said, 12 shows. This has been a great, great time. We appreciate you. We love you. Continue blessings. I look forward to seeing you all out there on the stages again, us working together. Onika, what should they do tomorrow?
They got to vote. You got to vote. You ain't got no choice but to vote. Take the rightful place on the throne. Go to that ballot box and vote. Like
Onika, I'm gonna need you not to say it so fast. I felt like
no, because I'm getting nervous. I'm getting nervous.
With enthusiasm, you talking to black folks.
I think it was the music.
Y'all gotta vote. Like,
it was the
music.
music.
What I'm saying. This is what they want. This is what it is, right? I don't normally act like this because I was in Jamaica for 4 days chilling out. I ain't mad about nothing, but I am mad if y'all don't vote. So I'm gonna get a little hype right now, and you have to vote. Just vote.
This is me
I
doing
see
you.
a sticker. If
this
you
is my
don't have a
interpretation.
sticker, anybody that talk to me for the next week, if I don't see your M&F sticker, don't say a goddamn thing.
This is my impression of what I need to tell people to vote. I shows need y'all to get on out.
Wow.
Don't fucking y'all get out now. We got muffins and pancakes.
Eyes opened up. Listen, man, God bless each and every one of you. Thank you so much. God willing, we will be back here next week with another episode of Enough is Enough 2020. And thank you to the people on Facebook. Everybody say thank you because they're watching. They've been watching for the whole hour.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
I love you all, man. I love you all so much.
Talent, you retarded.
Play us out, Talent. Play us out.
Y'all get out there and vote right now, you heard? Get out there and vote. Don't be playing, you heard? Get your hands out there and vote, quick.
That's why I'm glad I have control of the show. Bye, y'all.
Take care, y'all. Take care.
All right, take care, y'all.
All right.
God bless.